Headline from overnight, Sgt Bowe Bergdahl reporting for duty. According to the Pentagon, Bergdahl, released after 5 years in captivity, could return to the active duty roster as a U.S. soldier as early as today. Sgt Bergdahl was awash in controversy after he disappeared from post, some calling him a hostage, others a deserter. Now his psychological therapy is said to be over, and he's going back to work. Steve Hayes, senior writer, Weekly Standard, Fox News contributor. Steve, good morning to you.
Morning, Bill.
Did you expect this move?
I didn't expect it this quickly. I thought that eventually they could get there because it's part of normal Army protocol to put him through this reintegration process. But it seems pretty early, particularly given the fact that they haven't completed the investigation about the circumstances of his departure.
So they have not concluded that investigation. So that's going to continue, one assumes, as he is reinserted into Army life.
Right. He's been interviewed several times about the circumstances of his departure, about his time in captivity. He's going to be meeting with this Kenneth Dahl, who's heading the investigation in the coming days, but they haven't reached any conclusion about whether he was or was not a deserter. You'll remember that the early Army investigation, a previous Army investigation, found out that he had left his squad of his own volition and walked away of his own will. The question is whether he was a deserter. And to be a deserter, there's a rather technical definition. You have to have had the intent both to leave but also never to return. And I think that's one of the things that the Army is dealing with right now.
Have you heard whether or not he's met with his family? Because I have not. Have they been to Texas? Have they had a conversation on the phone?
I haven't heard whether he's met with them or whether they've spoken, but presumably if they had met, we would have probably heard about it by now.
Yeah. The reintegration process continues there. But as you rightly point out, there are still a lot of critics who are suspicious about his disappearance, Steve.
Well, I think there need to be answers, and I think one of the things that you'll hear in the coming days is questions from his squad mates who want to know, what are you finding in this investigation? You know, these are young men and women in some cases who believe that they risked their lives searching this for this guy who walked away, again, according to the Army investigation, on his own, by his own choice, and they want to know, why did he do this? What were the circumstances of his captivity? Was he held against his will the entire time he was in captivity? There are lots of questions, very few answers at this point.
He's still in Texas, and the Army says he'll live in barracks, and he'll also have 2 other soldiers to help him readjust. Stephen Hayes, thank you for that from Washington.
Thanks, Bill.